What's up, Rangers? Welcome to the Geek. My name's Steve, and today for another sort of how-to video, gonna do the Tommy Oliver. If you guys don't know who Tommy Oliver is, it is the Green Ranger from the original Mighty Morphin Power Rangers series. Also shows up quite a few other ones. He was also the Red Zero, Red Turbo, Black Dino, and the White Ranger too as well for Mighty Morphin. Wanted to make a little custom one because we get these extra heads. I kind of want to use them with other things. I actually have a Kimberly I kind of want to mess around with too a bit. But this one's going to be a lot more show-ish accurate. And to be honest, for a custom figure, it's actually be pretty simple. So you'll see he's already been put on the body, so I've done a slight bit of work. What the body is, and I wish I kept the package, but it's a Marvel Legends figure. I'll put the title here of the name of the character. That, or if I can find an affiliate link from Amazon, I'll put one in the description so you guys can kind of see a parts list. Because a lot of the stuff is fairly common right now in a lot of stores. I know it's, I don't know, he looks like the dude from Mortal Kombat. But anyways, picked him up. So that is our primary body here, because I kind of like the martial arts look that he had. Also comes with a bajillion hands, also great for martial arts posing. Next for the head is just the Lightning Collection Green Ranger, comes with the heads, so using that for the top here. And the muscle shirt here is from a Elite Series AJ Styles. And the nice thing is, this is exactly how AJ is going to be going on my shelf, except I'm going to pose them a little better for the hands. But I kind of like it without the muscle shirt on anyways, because it's more accurate to generally how he goes down in the ring when he has a match. And so I was like, so I don't feel quite like I'm blowing some money there, because I do like AJ Styles. And use the muscle shirt for this figure. It's going to require a little bit of modifying because it's a little too long. I don't really hate that it's a little big on him because it's a muscle shirt. It's supposed to be flailing around anyways. But it's got to be a little bit more revealing at the top, and I want to be able to see the belts here. So a little bit of modifying, and then after that it's pretty much just a lot of painting. I got the headband on him too already. All this is if you guys seen the Spawn tutorial, it's the same fabric I was messing around with in that. I just cut a little strip, elongated it. I made it much longer than I needed it to, and then just tied it around the back of his head to get the headband look. The only other thing I'll probably do is he had a necklace. I might make that, and he had these little cuffs on when he was fighting Jason in the original scene, which is kind of the look I'm more or less going for. So we'll probably just use some basic craft foam for around here, because essentially I want to try to mitigate as much fabric as I can. Because if you guys saw the Spawn video, I was kind of messing around with it a little bit because I just wanted to see how the fabric looked on him. Didn't really like that. I was thinking spandex because it would hug him a little better, and I thought that'd be nice. And then probably go with the stitching route because the glue seemed like I was having a hard time keeping together when you flipped it inside out, kind of like what you're supposed to do. So that I would have to stitch, and at that point I'm like, well, I can see if I can find a figure with a removable one. And thankfully there's a bunch of AJ Styles on the shelf, so it worked. I also think this body would work if you want to do an actual Jason figure. Same with Tommy, it works with that. You could also use it for most of the Rangers. That'd be appropriate anyways. So anyways, after this, it's pretty much the only thing I really got left to do once you get this stuff together, because again, it's mostly perfect the way it is. Just got to adjust this. We're going to paint this. We got to paint the pants. I was thinking about maybe trying to lighten up the skin tone, but I think with the clothes on, it's not really super noticeable, the color difference. Like his head's a little bit lighter. Maybe I'll just go sit and leave this in the sun for a little bit or something. But and on a serious note, I don't really think you really need to paint the body too much. It's not super distracting. And once you get everything painted up, hopefully it'll be good. But we're doing the same green for the top here. In the show, it's a little bit of a darker green, but this green kind of matches the actual Green Ranger a little bit better. So I'm going to go with that. And other than that, let's get into it. So again, first and foremost, we got to adjust the size here, which, looking at it and close, it seems like if I just cut away enough to where this nub's gone, it should be long enough. So I want it just long enough that you can see the majority of this, but you're not going to really be seeing its skin. So I'm going to take this section off here with an X-Acto knife and then expand up here a little bit more, because you can see, definitely see more of his chest on here. Same with the back. I'll probably bring it down to where the AJ is. Other thing you're going to have to do if you're going to want to make this particular custom is you'll have to remove some of the plastic off of the peg for the head, because it's definitely way too large for what was originally on here. Funny note, that still almost works with the original one. Because you only got to take a little bit off the side, but you're going to have to remove a lot off the top. Otherwise, he's going to kind of sit like a giraffe. Once I removed a little bit of it, he sits on there. A little bit nicer, and it's definitely a lot more snug. Which is essentially what you want. I just use the Dremel. Dremel is the easiest way, because just put it on a bit to shred some of the plastic and just kind of circled it around. Did about 2 passes, put the head on, didn't really fit right, did some more passes, and you just kind of keep doing little by little until it fits the way you want it to, and then just grinded it down until I got the height that I needed. So anyways, so we're gonna remove that again. We're gonna just pretty much get rid of the bottom peg, and we're just gonna use the top peg for clasping this on. Alright, so when using a blade, make sure to be super careful about it. Do as I say, not as I do, because I know sometimes I'll cut towards me because it's easier for me to see, and it's not the safe way. You always want to cut away from yourself. So if you're not very comfortable with using one of these, definitely make sure you're working with safe practices. Because the only time I generally cut towards me is on little things, because I can kind of gauge it a little bit better. But for this, I'm going to try doing it that way. Well, anyways, I'll lay this down. Alright, so I'm gonna lay this on my cutting surface, and then just gonna go straight across. And you might have to do a couple of tries. Don't be afraid if you don't cut it in the first run, because again, rather be safe than sorry. This is what it looked like with a good starting point. And then I want to clean up that little edge a little bit more. So, sort of looks like a shirt. Same thing for the back here. Lay it down. This part's going to be a little bit harder because it doesn't seem like it wants to flex. Make sure to be careful cutting not around your fingers. Darn, got that pretty spot on the first try. I was thinking I might have to remove a little bit more in some sections. To be honest, I only really need to shave a little bit off over here, and then good to go. That's pretty much about what I wanted. Like, you can see a little bit of the top of the belt, but you don't really see any of the skin. Yeah, I definitely like that. I try to heat it up a little bit just to stretch it a little bit more, but not too bad in the first try. And then, again, just going to remove a little bit around the neck region here. Hey, look at it! Got a little baggy, so it seems like it's not quite ready to fit fully yet. See a little bit of skin, so once I get the necklace on, have that a little bit tighter, but I think we're on the painting. Alright, so now I'm going to paint it. Usually I would primer this because since it's such a dark color, it'd be black and all. Usually with something like this, a surface primer. Personally, I like the Tamiya for doing action figures with. I know it's going to have a hard time curing. I had this issue with the Jurassic Park world, the Mattel dinosaurs with the tails and such. Anything kind of flexible, it seems to have a really hard time trying to cure on it. So I'm just going to spray it and then just keep spraying it and adding layers and laying it up till I get pretty much the shade I need and all this is gone. If that doesn't work, then I'll wash it off and try something else. we're going to let the shirt dry for a few minutes. Same thing we're going to be doing is spraying this with jet black. Taped up the parts that I don't want to try to get paint on. If I get a little bit here, it's not going to be the end of the world because I can just go through and touch it up later. The bottom of the paints I'm going to hand brush, try to alleviate a lot of residue that way, and just try to aim at it directly at the figure, so as to not go up in the paint or go up in where the tape is. Again, I want to kind of mitigate as much cleanup as possible, so I'm gonna spray him like this, articulate his knees, spray him again, hopefully be it. Some complications of raging a bit because when I went to spray it, it oversprayed and just blasted the top part of it. I got it pretty well cleaned up. Alright. Forgot to turn you off. But we got our green muscle shirt. It didn't turn out as good as I was hoping. Like, it's still got some texture issues. And I had to do some brushing on the back here because I just kind of wanted to peel off. But I still think overall still gonna work because I guess like the rough texturing kind of helps like a shirt, makes it look more like a t-shirt now. But anyways, let's get our Jason head on, bandana, or Tommy, sorry, Tommy head. It's Jason, Dave, or Frank, so I keep wanting to call him Jason, even though I know Jason's technically the Red Ranger. But you guys can see mostly done now. I know there's some sections of the joints I probably could have done better. But for the most part, I don't plan on dynamically posing it too much anyways after it's painted. So, for the most part, it's pretty much just going to be standing and just striking a pose. So, it doesn't need, I don't need like the very back of the joint to be painted appropriately. But the rest of it is definitely a must. Probably should get this paint off, this painter's tape off these feet. Because next will be brushing the bottoms of these. And then, well, I guess we got our little foam bits around the hands. Now what I'm going to do is just wrap this around his wrist, glue the 2 points together, and cut off the excess. And it already matches the coloring, so I don't have to change too much. This doesn't have to be precise. It's really sad I just lost a toothpick in there. But, yeah, it doesn't have to be super on the point, because when you see cuffs and fighting and stuff anyways, they shift around, they adjust, so it doesn't have to be quite accurate for the sizing. But again, just wrap that around the wrist, bring this around, right about there seems good. Hold it for a second. Nice thing is with foam, this glues pretty quick. Cut off my end. Squish it down a bit. Again, pop the hand off because I want this on the bottom. And before it fully glues to the actual arm. So you won't really see my crime posed on the shelf. But now he's got little wristbands, and that's pretty much it. outside of just touching up the paint, gotta find something for the necklace. What I'm just gonna mainly do is just get, hopefully I got some black string laying around, and then if you got cardstock, you can use this if you're super careful. I actually have little sheets of plastic that I'm just gonna cut a little circle out of for his little pendants, and then drill a little hole, put the wire through it, and then paint this metallic. And here is the final product for Tommy Oliver, aka the Green Ranger, or Jason David Frank figure. And I think it turned out pretty great. Scales very nicely with the Lightning Collection Green Ranger, as you see here, which is sort of what I was going for. Now, I will say the muscle shirt on him is definitely a bit on the larger side, because initially I was kind of thinking, like, sometimes we see him in the episodes, the shirts are kind of baggy anyways, so it's kind of the look I was going for. But still a little large.
which is kind of odd because the figure that I took this off of kind of seemed like it was mostly the same body size, but I don't know, once I started cutting and contorting things, it definitely would appear not. Which, the figure I'm using did have like a fairly, I guess, more a slender body to begin with, but then again, I thought AJ Styles' body would have worked pretty adamantly with it. But it works. The thing you can do is use a little bit of spandex, green spandex, and stitch work. Make a shirt out of that. I think would look really nice on this. The paint turned out pretty good overall. As you guys saw in the video, painted the pants black. The only thing I did off screen was I touched up the bottoms here. And then for the shirt, I had to touch up a couple of spots because I ended up just brushing a few things just to kind of finish it up. Because in the process of drying it, the backdrop I was using, the airbrush, decided that it wanted to smack into the Green Ranger. So I had to retouch up this back here. I just brushed it. Because for the most part, for me, it's just going to stand on a shelf next to the Green Ranger. It's going to do the job, I think. If I was, say, selling this, I would redo this section here and re-airbrush it and whatnot. Although if I was selling it, I would probably redo the muscle shirt, I think. The other thing I could try doing is just shaving off more this side to not make it look as huge. It's pretty much I could do a lot of cutting and glue it, make it fit appropriately. But then the shirt would be fixed on there, and I kind of had the option to take it off if I wanted to. Because the one thing that, unlike the original Jason David Frank in the TV show, is this one's jacked, which is kind of what I thought. Like with a lot of the older Rangers, where you can see like the muscle definition through the Ranger suits, I thought this body type would have been is kind of funny in comparison to that. So that's kind of why I wanted to go with that. And also, I guess it's more akin to how he looks nowadays because he's a pretty ripped individual. And yeah, pretty pleased with it. Using the foam around the hands turned out good. Headband strap looked nice. One thing I would consider doing is the head that came on the figure originally had a headband on it too, so I could maybe snip the back of it off and stick it underneath the hair and just have the cloth wrapping around and then the plastic coming off the back is an option I might look into at some point. If I decide to come back through and readjust the figure here. One thing you might have noticed when I was airbrushing is the airbrush decided to overspray and got a lot of the upper part of the figure because I screwed up adjusting the nozzles and I thought I was correct. Clearly wasn't. So took a lot of Mr. Clean to it. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser does wonders for your action figures if you get any kind of dirt, paint on them, what have you. Removes the stuff pretty easily. You just got to be careful when doing it over top of a paint job. It'll also start eating into the paint if you go a little too hard into it. So just be careful with it. But my wife uses it to clean up like My Little Ponies and stuff. So I use it for a lot of my cleanup jobs on these custom figures. And also what's cool is I have all these little hand accessories. So if I want to pose them in crazy poses, got the option. But let me know in the comment section below what you guys thought of this custom. If this was something that interests you guys, might try to do some more Rangers in the future. I have a Kimberly kind of already set, but that one I got to paint and maybe adjust a little bit. Some of the other Rangers, like, you can use this kind of style too to do Jason if you wanted to, if you didn't want to do Tommy. Billy, I would actually be more inclined to pick up more of those like Amber Collection Owens and swap the heads of those to make a Billy. I think would be cool. I think the next custom I do is probably going to be a dinosaur repaint. As I've had the Spinosaurus primer for freaking ever, and I think it needs to get finished. But anyways, help us defeat those kaijus by hitting that like button, subscribe, become a Ranger today. We will see you guys in the next video. Bye-bye.